Good morning, it's Lindsay from Rented Space. Thank you for joining me this morning in my kitchen. So I have just put, I have jobs to do both inside and outside. So I'm going to try and get them done. I've got to get dinner made for the family tonight. So I'm going to put that on the fireplace to cook slowly throughout the day. I've just put some pre-chopped onions from the freezer in the bottom of the pan. And I just learnt this new trick from the Spicy Mustache, where you soak your garlic cloves in a jug or bowl of warm water, and then when you peel it, it just makes the skin just peels off. I have this bulb of garlic here that really needs to be used, so I'm going to try and use that. So yeah, it's just peels straight off. Nice, and pretty impressed with that. Okay, so I'm going to get that done, and then I've also got some apples that I need to get cut up and turn them. I'm going to put them in the slow cooker and turn them into apple pie filling. The naughty kittens have been on the dining table and used them as ball practice, and so they're a bit bruised and battered, so I'll take those off. And we'll then head outside and get some jobs out there done. So we finally got our fencing finished yesterday, which I'm very excited about. Now I don't have to worry about trying to fit everything else in on a weekend, including the fencing. The chickens will be allowed to free range now. I'm sure they're going to be very excited about that. Okay, this can all go into the compost. Okay, into the pot. Lots of mince. So this is just mince that I have bought in bulk and then put through the air vac to freeze into smaller parcels. And I've had it in the fridge overnight, so it's not quite defrosted, but it's starting to. All right. So I'm going to put this. I'm going to put this into on top of my wood fire, so it slowly cooks throughout the day. I'll probably give it about half an hour, and then I'll add some tinned tomato. Got some tinned diced tomato, and then it'll be just sit there all day. Sorry, slowly cooking, and be ready for dinner tonight. I don't have to do anything else, Alice. Okay, so here I hadn't realised that I haven't put any herbs or spices into my pasta sauce. Normally my pasta sauce has a lot more to this. I don't know where my brain was. Jamie and I ended up being invited out to go out for a friend's birthday dinner this night, so I never come back to show you what it looked like and correct my mistakes. However, I did add the herbs, spices, Worcestershire sauce, and a few other bits and bobs that I do add. I did end up with 3 meals out of this one pot, one for later in the week as well. Okay, so I'm up to the apples now. I'm just going to peel them, cut off any bruised bits from them being, used as play toys with the cats. They've been washed as well. The naughty kittens aren't allowed on the table, but they thought that seemed like a fun game anyway. All the apples were completely washed and wiped over before I used them. Dishwasher's on in the background, so please excuse that. I know traditionally apple pie is, Granny Smith Golden Delicious, but I just use whatever I have on hand. I don't really. And like I said, these need to be these need to be used, so I'm going to use them. Now with the peel, you could use that to make apple scrap vinegar or something like that. But I have enough jobs going on today, so I'm going to, and because of all the bruises and stuff, I'm actually feeding mine to my chickens. I'll enjoy that. See what I mean? There's like bruises. As I was saying before, we've actually finally finished the fencing. It was supposed to be a 43% chance of rain today, and so we smashed through it yesterday through the on again, off again showers that we were having. So we were all sitting in wet and mud and filth, freezing cold. And today it's actually a nice day out there. So far, we'll see. It might change, But so far, it's a nice day out there. So I'm actually excited to be able to get out there and get some jobs done. Things that have been waiting, but kind of been pushed to the background just due to, everything else going on. Alright, I've got 2 more apples to peel, and then I can start chopping, and I'll put them straight into the slow cooker with some sugar and cinnamon. And then, excuse me, I got a frog in my throat this morning. Yeah, the frogs are in the compost, aren't they? We found some frogs yesterday. We were cutting when we had to. Sorry, one of my surrounds had a fence, so we had to take the old poles out that were, you know, rotting and that, so that all the fences are all strong and stable. And when we're taking out one of them, there was, because of the water that was in the bottom of the hole, like around the pole, there was frogs in there. We may have squished one, and we had a couple more that were still there. Yeah, it was just plain dead, wasn't it? So, I put them in the compost bin because the compost bin is really full up the top, like to the brim. And I thought, oh, well, with all the bugs and things in there, the frogs would be having a field day. And because it was full, I did give it another water down. And I just wanted them to be somewhere safe while we were continuing fencing. So I'm just going to cut the apple. I'll put it down so you can see. Just cutting them into chunks. I'm not being too precise because it'll sit in the slow cooker and slow down. So this one here has a yucky bit, so I just cut that off. Not too close to the core. I'll just get in as close to the core as possible. And I'll just do that for the rest. Put them in the slow cooker with the sugar, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so here it is, all in the slow cooker. Nutmeg, cinnamon, some sugar, all added into the mix. I will also add, once it's fully cooked down, I add some cornstarch or corn flour to give it that thickness so that it holds. But realistically, because I have mostly big chunks and then a few little chunks, it does really well. Okay. So one of the jobs I've got to do today as well is picking up all the bark and sawdust from where we've cut wood. So I'm going to be picking this all up. I'm trying to separate the bigger pieces, and I have a pile. So I'm just sort of sorting out the big pieces. I'm trying to make it so it's mostly no bigger than that going in. And I also feel like if it's really breakable, I can leave it, but if it's hard, then obviously not. I'm not sure what happened. I think my microphone battery went flat, so I'm talking to you here and no sounds coming out whatsoever. So I'm just telling you how everything can be used, even what's essentially a waste product, I'm going to put back into the garden. So the small bits will go into the compost and break down to make next year's compost and regenerate my soil for my garden beds. The bigger pieces will go into my fire buckets, and that will be used as kindling, which again will be burnt, and the ashes will again then go into my compost. So I'm getting use out of it twice. I will use it in my fire, and then again I will use it in my compost. All right. Sorry, I got interrupted. Buying flag for the front of the house. Hubby wanted to come and show me some ideas. And then he discovered that the recovery treads from the top of the four-wheel drive of his car have been stolen. So anyway, always good fun, isn't it? Hey. So yeah, so like I was saying anyway, I'm putting the big stuff aside, using this for compost and also for like mulch in the garden. And because I'm filling all the beds, I'm using this as garden fill. So it'll help retain moisture in the gardens. It'll break down obviously and provide nutrients. In the compost it'll do the same. And then what would be waste is going to good use. So I'm just trying to get as much of it as possible, because I have the 3 Audi beds. I have my 6 dried drums that I've turned into that I'm using to plant plants in, and starting off a new compost bin because I'm going to empty the others. So kind of just trying to get everything done. So that's mostly full. I'll just get this into the box. This isn't actually a thing, but I've started using this the farmer's pick fruit and veg boxes. I've had 3 now and I really like them. I've had maybe 1 or 2 pieces of damaged fruit or something in each box, but I mean, I think that's just mostly the delivery rather than, bad packing or anything. They definitely separate and have, cardboard to try and paper, to try and separate to make it nice and safe in there. But no, it's good, and it's also helping me. I'm getting good fresh fruit and veg, and then I just build my meals around that for the week. And whatever's left at the end of the week, I turn into soups or stews or stock or whatever the case may be. But I mean, this is a decent sized amount of food for $70. It's actually, I think, $63 or something. I couldn't tell you, maybe $65. But so you can do it as a one-off, or you can do a subscription.
I like that you can remove any fruit or vegetables that your family do not like, and you're saving your money there.
It's just these little jobs, isn't it? They all need to be done. Helps if I put it in the right tubs, doesn't it? All right. This will be good kindling for the fire. This will be great compost and sort of mulch, some of it mulch. Oh, why do I always end up filthy? Alright, I'm going to go take this to the house and then come back for the mulch compost box. Alright, well, I've got a bit of everything today. I had a bit of inside, a little bit of outside. So the apple pie filling has finished. The tomato pasta sauce is just slow, like it's cooked, but it's just simmering away, thickening up. And I've got this mess picked up and ready to put into the pots and the garden beds. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me today on this video and my trip in the garden and the kitchen, and I hope you have a wonderful afternoon. What kind of things do you reuse around the house or take advantage of to, save money and keep growing your compost and everything? Anyway, thanks so much. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.